Hi yoga friends. So I have today for you a practice and some tips about how to do yoga with a chair. So chair yoga is super helpful for people who have mobility problems, who may have trouble getting up and down off the ground in a yoga practice, for people who have balance issues and need something to hold on to. And it can also be handy if you're doing yoga at home or in your office and you just don't want to get down on the floor to do a practice, or you don't have the space to roll out a mat. So obviously you can sit in a chair, but there are also lots of ways that you can use a chair from a standing position to give you some support in balance postures, and lots of creative ways that you can use a chair. So the first thing you want to look for when you are selecting a chair for your yoga practice, you want to find something that's going to be really sturdy. So I have just one of my dining room chairs. It works great. Lots of yoga studios will have folding chairs, and those are also a good choice. So you just want to make sure that it's nice and even, not wobbly, obviously no casters or rollers on the feet. And I have my chair on a carpeted floor, so it's not going to slide around. So if you have a chair that has smooth feet and you're working on a wood or tile floor or something like that, you want to make sure that you roll out a yoga mat or something so that your chair is not going to slip around on the ground. So you'll begin with your hands resting on the back of a chair. And just take a moment to stand nice and tall and feel your breath in and out. And when you inhale, expand your ribs and lift your chest. And then when you exhale, contract your belly from the bottom up, and then relax your chest and shoulders again. So inhale, widen your ribs, lift your chest. And exhale, pull your belly in and up. You can take a few more breaths like this so that you can feel how your breath helps to support your posture. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, belly in and up. And then on your next inhale, lift your heels and come up onto your toes. And then when you exhale, lower your heels back down again. So it's a little challenge for the balance. Inhale, lift your heels. And exhale, lower down again. And remember to pull your belly in as you exhale. And if you want, next time when you inhale, reach one arm out to the side and up. So it's a little bit more balance. You don't have your hand on the chair. And we'll do that one more time on this side. And then we'll give the other side a try. And I'm going to go forward and up with this arm because I've got records next to me. So inhale, lift your arm. So at home, you can do this out and up or forward and up. It's up to you. Exhale, lower down. So the out and up is going to give you a little external rotation in the shoulder. And the forward and up is going to be a little bit more stretch in the front of the body. And if you want a little extra bonus challenge, when you inhale next time, you can try letting go of the chair completely and lower back down. Otherwise, you can alternate one arm and the other arm again. So we've just done 2 times with each variation. And then you can just take a moment to feel the effects of that little bit of balance. So lengthening the spine in that balance challenge can help bring you a little bit of energy and a little bit of focus for the mind too, working on that balance. Now you'll stand to the side of your chair, and you can have one hand resting on the back of the chair. And then from this position, you'll step 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. So I have, wait a second. We're gonna have the side that's closest to the chair, that leg's gonna be forward and your other chair's gonna be back. So you may have to adjust your feet a little bit. So your hand is gonna be bent so that your hand is kind of at hip level. So from this position, both legs are straight. You're gonna press down with your right heel. And then when you inhale, bend your front knee, lift your chest, and lift your arm forward and up. And then when you exhale, straighten your leg again. So The side that is closest to the chair is holding onto the chair, and the side that's further away from the chair is the side that's getting the stretch. So when you exhale, straighten your front leg. And then when you inhale, bend the front knee, lift the chest, and lift the arms. So it's a little bit of a back bend. And let's do that just one more time. And then in this position, you can hold it for a few breaths. So when you exhale, keep pulling your low belly in. And when you inhale, keep lifting your chest up. And reach your hand back behind your ear just slightly. And if you feel stable here, then you can let go of the chair. The chair is always there if you want to stay with your hand down. And then when you exhale, relax your arm down. And then step your feet back together again. So before you switch sides, you can feel the effects of that posture. You might be able to feel a little bit of length in one side of your body. And then we'll turn around and go the other way. So now other side is facing the chair. And you can see it doesn't really make a huge difference whether you're facing towards the back of the chair or away from it. So again, your hand is going to be kind of in line with your hip, and you'll step 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. So the side that's closest to the chair is stepping forward. The side that's further away from the chair is stepping back. So one hand's on the back of the chair. Press your back heel down by engaging your glutes and pulling your low belly in. And then when you inhale, bend your front knee, lift your chest, your arms lengths forward and up. And then when you exhale, straighten your leg and relax your arm down. So in and out a few times. Inhale, lift the chest and the arm. And exhale, straighten your leg and go back. And again, we'll do that one last time, and then we'll hold that position. And then when you're holding, you can kind of refine what you're doing. So when you inhale, you can lift your chest a little more. When you exhale, you can recommit to pressing your back heel down and pulling your belly in. And feel free to hold on to the chair, or if you feel stable, you can reach your arm up to meet the other one. So again, chair's always there to hold on to if you like. And then when you exhale, you can straighten your leg and relax your arm down. And step your feet together. And then we'll use the chair for a standing forward bend. So I'll show you the less deep version first, and then I'll show you the deeper version first. So you'll step back a little bit from the chair, so you can still touch it, but you're a little bit is backed up from it. So it's up to you. You can continue to hold on to the chair if you feel like you need balance. Otherwise, inhale, reach your arms up. And then when you exhale, bend your knees a little bit and pull in your low belly as you start to fold forward. And then you can rest your hands on the chair. And if you feel like you need a little bit more stretch, you can bend your elbows as you come into that forward bend. And then when you inhale, lift your chest to stand back up again. So if you want, you could do that a couple times. Inhale to lift your chest, and exhale to fold forward just as far as feels good on your low back. And inhale, lift your chest to stand back up again. And so feel free to do that way again. I'll show you also the version of doing that standing on the seat side of the chair. So again, you'll back away from the chair a couple feet. This one you don't have the advantage of actually touching the chair unless you have some gorilla Gumby arms. So you'll inhale and reach your arms up. And same thing, when you exhale, bend your knees and start to fold forward. And then the seat will, you'll be able to reach it eventually. And same thing, you can keep your arms more straight, or you can bend your elbows for a deeper forward bend. And make sure you let the back of your neck relax too. And when you inhale, lift your chest and stand back up again. And we'll do that version one more time. So exhale, pull in your belly, round your low back as you come down. And again, you can stay with your arms straighter, or you can bend your elbows to fold forward more. And then when you inhale, lift your chest and stand all the way up. And then relax your arms back down again. Now we'll take a look at some simple postures you can do seated in a chair. So when you're sitting in a chair to do a yoga practice, I recommend sitting a little bit forward towards the edge of the chair, and to make sure your feet are firmly planted on the ground. And if the ground is too far away from you, then you can always rest your feet on a blanket or a couple blankets or on blocks or books, whatever you need just to prop up your feet a little bit so that you can feel nice and stable, and so that your pelvis is pretty neutral on the chair. And also being like a little bit forward, it does allow you a little bit of space to tilt your pelvis forward and back, just to give you a little bit of ability to adjust the relationship between your hips and low back in a posture, and to get a little bit more movement around the low back and hips if you want it. So, sitting a little bit forward in your chair, then you can take one foot and place your ankle on your knee. And so this is a variation on pigeon pose. So you are welcome to just kind of stay here and rest your hands on your leg if you like. I like to flex this foot to bring a little bit of energy through my leg, and then relax the knee down towards the floor. So this gives you a nice external rotation in the hip. And you might already feel a stretch around the outer hip in this position. So you can make this dynamic by inhaling when you lift your chest and exhaling to bend your elbows and round your low back to fold forward. So you could come in and out of this position a few times. Inhale, lift your chest, and exhale to fold. So this gives you a little bit of that kind of Bhujangasana or cobra-like action to the pose, where you are exercising and stretching the muscles in the low back. And then you can also just stay in this forward bend position. So you can just fold as much as is comfortable for you, and let your elbows bend and let your head and neck relax. So you can really stay in this position for, I would say, at least 5 breaths, a little longer if you like. And then when you're done with that one, you can lift your chest to sit back up again. And we'll do that on the other side. So again, just finding a nice stable position for your hips and your feet. And then take your other ankle up onto your knee. And again, I like a little flex on the foot and hands resting on the leg somewhere. And let that knee relax down towards the floor. So already you might feel a stretch in the outside of the hip somewhere. So this gives you that external rotation in the leg and helps to stretch the glutes and around the low back on this side. So let's make it dynamic for a few breaths. So when you inhale, lift your chest. And then when you exhale, pull in your belly and fold forward. And we'll do that a few times. So inhale, lift your chest to sit back up. And exhale, pull in your belly, bend your elbows, and just go as far as you like. Let your chin drop down when you exhale, and lift your chest when you inhale. So you can feel the muscles in your back stretching in this forward bend position. And you can also feel the muscles in the back contract when you inhale to lift you back up again. And again, we'll stay in that forward bend position for a few breaths. So you can stay here for 5 breaths or so. I'm moving it just a little bit quickly since I'm using this video as a little demo. But the longer you stay here, the more these muscles on the outer hip and low back will relax. And when you inhale, lift your chest to sit back up again. And then you can uncross your legs. So of course you could use that same principle for a seated forward bend just with your feet on the floor. So when you inhale, lift your chest, and when you exhale, bend your elbows and fold down. And in a seated position, you might find that your belly or your chest hits your legs before your back can stretch very much. So if that's the case for you, if you have your feet hip width apart, then try widening them. You can take them as wide as the feet of the chair, or you can even take them wider to really give you the ability to fold down between your legs. And you can do this dynamically up and down. And particularly in this wide-legged position, it might feel nice to take your hands down to the ground or hang on to opposite elbows to give you a little traction in the upper back. So in this position, I can feel a stretch in my inner thighs as well as across my low back and the back of my hips, and a little stretch between my shoulder blades because I'm holding onto my elbows here. And if you've got your hands on the ground, you can use a little help to lift your chest, then take your hands back onto your knee one at a time, and then inhale, lift your chest to sit back up again. So I hope you enjoyed those seated postures to do in a chair. Let me know what you think, and if you'd like more yoga videos and tips, you can visit my website at www.omchantress.com. Thanks, bye.